It actually starts out with a pile of fabric. Then we have foam, and to prepare the foam, I like to sew around all the edges. It flattens the edges down so they don't get into the seam allowance when I sew the case together. I put a zigzag seam down the middle of the foam because that's where the case folds up. The straps are made from webbing, and I either pin or use double-sided tape to stick them where I need them on the bag before I sew them. And you can see that I added a pocket to one side of the bag. I sewed this on my domestic machine, and the throat of the machine is very small. It's about 5 inches, I think. So I have to roll the bag up on one side just to get it through there so I can get everything sewed correctly. The way I roll the handles is I just fold them over and sew the edges down, and then I've got 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch tubing depending on what size I need. I'll put in the handle to make it easier on your hands when you're carrying something heavy. In sewing the main body piece to the main lining piece, I put them together, right sides together, and I sew around all the outside edges, but I leave a few inches open at one of the ends so I can get in there to turn it. Also, I need to have enough of an opening to get the foam piece that I prepared earlier in there after I turn it. This is a big bag and takes a little while to do. Once the case is turned right side out, it's time to get the foam inserted. And after working with this, I think the next one I make, I will sew the foam in. I think that would be easier than trying to shove it up in there and straighten it out. But I did it. I got her done. After I finally get the foam laid inside properly and all the seams clipped together, it's time to clip the zipper to the outside. This is a double rifle case, so it's got two sections, and each section gets a full zipper. What I'm doing now is marking the middle of the zipper with a chalk pen, so when I take it apart, because in order to sew it I have to take the zipper apart, and I sew one side of the zipper to one side and another part of the zipper to the other side. So when the bag is folded up, it'll have zipper tabs on each end. Here I've got to line the center of the zipper with the center of the bag, so I got to mark the center on both sides of the bag. Here I match up the centers of the zipper tape to the centers of the bag to make sure I get a good straight zipper when I sew it. The center divider is cut just a tiny bit smaller than the main, and here I've showed that I've got the zipper sewed in, and I double stitched the zipper to make sure it's sewed in properly. Then I got to mark a line down the middle, because that's where the center pocket's going to get sewed, or the center panel is going to get sewed in. Now this is the center piece. It's got a 1/4 inch foam stitched to it, and I'm just rounding off the corners here so I can get it ready to attach to the main piece. And then I've got a 1/2 inch of foam on the main piece and a 1/4 inch of foam on the divider panel, and I've got to put all that together and shove it through my machine and hope it stitches. So far my little machine has been a workhorse, has been catching everything. Now I've got to get my ruler back out and measure the center of the divider panel so I can get it sewed to the main panel. Once the center panel is all stitched together and onto the main panel, I fold it up and check to make sure that it is going to be the right size and it is going to fit. Right now I'm getting ready to sew the binding. I put double fold elastic as binding on the outside of the center panel. And what that does is just cover the raw edges. And it gives me a guide to sew in the double zipper that I have to sew on the center panel. Now that I've got the binding stitched around the center panel, it's time to get the center zippers prepared and clamped or pinned onto the center divider. Now that I have all the zippers stitched in, it's time to put the zipper pulls on and zip it up and make sure everything fits. My corners are better than normal. The center of the zippers matched up really good. On this bag, I put a pull tab or a grab tab on one end, which also covers the zippers, and I did the hidden zipper ends on the other end. This is a big bag. It's a custom sized for an individual. It has a waterproof canvas outside with a polar fleece lining on the inside. It has 1/2 inch foam on the outside, and when you put 2/4 inch pieces of foam together on the divider panel, that also equals 1/2 inch. So you got approximately 1.5 inches foam in the whole bag. I do hope you enjoyed the video on how I make these bags. It's not a tutorial, it's how I do them. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe.